Welcome back to another Beyond Stats video. Got a few games of Summer League. Got to see three games of Salt Lake Summer League. Some good and some bad.
Which is what it's for.
Yes. First things first, you're talking about the young, hopefully growing star, Keontae George.
Right, who's now in his second year, right?
Yes.
So last year, as he'd make a mistake in his first year, would be like, oh, that's adorable. This year's like, come on.
Yeah, right? There's expectations.
Have gone up. Year two.
And first game, scored 30 points on 21 shots. He very, very much, it was kind of like, hey, this is your team. Go lead the team, go lead the offense, run the offense. Didn't get anyone involved and just proceeded to take every single freaking shot. And
was taken out of the game and affected the rest of the team quite badly in that second quarter. They put Scottie Pippen Jr. on him, right?
Yep.
And a good point of attack defender and messed him up a bit.
Yeah, 100%. And then didn't play him game two. I thought that was all we were going to see of him, which wasn't a great outing.
Right.
And then tonight, third game, he comes back and plays. We brought everyone back, played tonight. Way better performance. Very, very similar stats. If you straight up just look at points, rebounds, assists, look at the basic stats, very similar game, but this was 10 times better, more what you're looking for. It was like 30 points, 31 and 5 or something like that. But way more got the team involved, exploded in the second half and went for a huge run when we needed it and was feeling it. Wasn't taking, there's a few shots you can call questionable, but he was feeling it at that point, right? He took he was feeling it throughout the game. You can live with some bad shots during that stretch.
Played with more maturity,
Yes.
managed the game a little bit better, right? It looked like a starter level player, right? It's not somebody that kind of shows, should I say the C word already? Clarkson style. Did I go there already? It's July. Son of a...
Yeah. Tonight was good because, like I said, you look at 5 assists, and it's like, yeah, we'd like to see 7, 8, 9 assists, but at the same time, you could feel way more everyone in the team just feeling involved and feeling more in a flow. Whereas that first game, yeah, he gets his numbers, but no one else on the team feels like there's any sort of rhythm, which is why we were getting killed in the first half of that first game.
Yeah, and why they moved him off ball, right?
Yes.
And then it started clicking, and so you do want to see dramatic improvements as a team from game to game in summer league, especially your first ones. You get the rest of the summer off. So happy to see that. Also think that we need to give a shout out to the Jazz training staff in the off season, because damn, that first night we were there and I'm looking around like, where's Sensabaugh? I don't see Sensabaugh. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Sensabaugh, dude.
Yeah, he's just warming up in a tank top, not in his warm ups.
Got the haircut, so it looks a little different, and his body's looking, like made major strides. Kenneth Lofton Jr. obviously, Taylor Hendricks looking like he's slimmed up but yet added some muscle, and so props to the nutrition and training staff there for the Jazz. They've done well.
And that's noticeable. The thing, right? You talk about Sensabaugh. This is the first real offseason he's had in a few years
without a surgery,
surgery or injury or anything like that.
Yeah.
And in one healthy offseason, this is what you get, and the kind of development we get. It makes you excited of, man, if he can continue that, where can Bryce Sensabaugh go?
He gives you the glimpses of effortless scoring, muscling through contact, even against some of the bigger defenders. It just makes it look so easy and creates space.
I'm telling you, it looks. His style of play is so much like Joe Johnson when Joe Johnson was older and came to Utah and had that at that point had really just had that ISO Joe, just kind of went at his pace no matter how much you attacked him. He has that feel to his game, and as he continues to grow, you could see a lot of that, except he's also a very solid playmaker.
Right. He is very good with passing the ball. There's some bonehead decisions that he's made and some weird fouls, and he gets frustrated as he turns the ball over a couple of times, and he does need to clean that up. Hardy will bench him in a second if he pulls that, but that's going to be part of his journey. But the glimpses of the things that he does so effortlessly are, man, that's fun in it makes you really excited for his future and for the journey, which is the way we look at all these rookies, right?
Yep.
It's on a long-term journey, and what really happens.
Well, and that's the thing, right? You talk about Taylor Hendricks, who even in that first game seemed very passive and just non-existent, but at the same time, he's really not a guy we're ever going to be looking to go create.
Right.
And so when your point guard is just looking for his own, it's not surprising that he all of a sudden disappears. Second game, Keontae's looking more, our guards are looking way more to involve everyone else. Taylor Hendricks has a pretty big game for him.
Yeah, he'll have the situation where in transition he can get some dunks and make some athletic plays, and hit the open three. The shot, the release looks like it has sped up from last year.
Yes.
It looks like it's quicker. Not quite as much across the body, kind of like he was doing a lot last year with the shot. That's what it looks like. So those three, the expectations has risen quite a bit. I'm not sure if they're all three going to Vegas or what's going on. I haven't heard an announcement. That would be great to be able to see them.
Yeah.
But for all of our second-year guys, still holding out hope that we've done well on all three of those draft picks and they have a long future with us.
Right.
Fair to say?
100%.
Yeah. Then we got the three noobs.
Yes.
Where should we start?
I mean, do you want to start bad or good? Obviously, with our last video, I was not happy with how the draft came out. To me, Cody Williams has looked exactly why I didn't want to draft him at 10. He's looked slow. He is very obviously needs to put a lot of weight on, but also he's not hitting shots, and it comes back to, we consistently talk about he has all this potential of what he can be. And are we saying that because his name is Williams, right? Or how much of that comes from Jalen Williams? Because what has Cody Williams really done to show that? And getting to sit down and be at several of these games over this, these first few games, and of course it's his first 3 games. There's a lot of learning, but he doesn't seem quick enough to be that level of defender, and 2, he just seems to get lost. The IQ doesn't really seem to be there on the defensive side to say that he can at some point develop into an elite defender.
Yeah, you can live with a 19-year-old coming in and being behind physically. You can live with that. You can still invest money into a high draft pick. Some of the signs that are concerning is, like you said, there are times that he's off of a pick or a switch, or even the right footwork and the angle to start to get around a screen. The footwork seems to be way off. The mechanics of how he kind of moves his legs and tries to get his hips turned sometimes seems off. That's the part that's concerning. So he's definitely got the length, has the measurables, right? He's a long defender. And there are times that he stays in front of a guy and he kind of has to turn his body as the guy's coming into him because he doesn't have the strength to be there. And that's fine. You can live with that part. There are some signs that it seems like it's going to be a long journey for him to get to be a real serviceable, long 3-and-D guy that we hope.
It feels like we are years away from even coming close to know.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that I'm giving up on the kid. That's not what I'm saying. But it seems like, I made the comment, a year from now, are we going to kind of have somewhat of an idea how much of a project he is? I hope so, but I don't know. Is he somebody where 2 years from now in Summer League, we're going to have to be that, then we'll be a little bit closer to knowing really what he is and what he can be, just because it seems like it's not just physical pieces, but there are a lot of other pieces that aren't quite there. Not to say he does everything bad. There's some calmness as he's going towards the rim and finishing and some things there. But I just wonder how long of a project that is, if there's really an ROI on the number 10 pick.
Yeah, and I do. I hope he develops into that player. It's just I don't see the argument on why he's the 10th pick in the draft kind of thing. You know, you look at some things, and like you said, he's 19 years old. He's skinny. We can work on those things. The other things that would be like, yeah, these are the potential things. You start to break down those things, and it's like, how much is there?
Right. It's there's seems like a lot longer of a path to get there if it happens at all. So, like we said, we're Jazz fans. We hope it happens. We hope he's a Hall of Famer.
And he pissed me off because he wouldn't talk to the freaking kids at the summer league game.
You're holding on to that one, man. I saw him. He was signing autographs in the second game.
Oh,
That's funny. But as we're discussing a negative, can I bring up how absolutely shitty the camera work is on these damn games, dude?
oh my gosh.
Is that the dumbest thing I've ever seen?
Whoever decided that and was like, this is going to be really cool and new and innovative, please fire them.
Punch him in the face.
Like, if you guys have been watching the Jazz broadcast, I hope you guys feel the same. But it feels like I'm on like a ride as I'm rocking
Right.
back and forth.
And we understand the concept of the big long cable cam, right? There's some cool things with kickoffs and aerial that it follows the play and highlights, but damn it, in the normal run of playing a game, as you're following, going, and all of a sudden you're freaking way behind the baseline and stuff's going on, and you're behind the basket, can't even see what's going on. It feels like I'm seasick. Judas Priest, that stuff sucks, man. Stop doing that.
Yeah, I hope they haven't decided that we're going to be doing that for all Jazz games this year. That was just a summer league try it out thing, because if that's how we're going to be watching all Jazz games, I'm going to be finding a way to stream from other teams' local broadcasts.
Don't have their head up their ass. How about that? Judas Priest. And I mean, like, I watch a ton of soccer, by the way. Berhalter fired. Hell yeah. Get the hell out of the U.S. national team. Had to get that in there. You know I did. But, I mean, so we watch it, and they have some of those aspects in soccer too, but they have a stable camera angle, and that you've got to have that. I saw some people complaining about it on X today, and somebody else gets in there saying old people can't handle, new innovation. No, that's not new innovation. There was never any progress in twirling the camera around while it goes.
I don't want to feel like I'm on a boat up in the upper freaking level watching the Jazz game.
There were several instances where the way that the ball moved and bounced, because we were still fading, like I can't even tell where it's going. It's just messing up with depth perception. Anyway, stop it. Stop doing that.
It's something that's like I said, it's cool to have that view for like some replays.
Right.
And every once in a while maybe go to that, as a game's going to change it up and stuff like that. Having that as your main feed is just a bad decision.
Garbage. Oh man. All right, I feel better now.
We can go to some positives now.
Good. Let's talk about Mr. Positive, 29th pick in the draft.
I've been, so far very happy with how Collier has come out and played. My biggest concerns, and we were very talkative about it because you were a big fan of Collier, is with everything he can do offensively, the two major concerns I have from him are his weird decision making at times, and defensively, how he was the fourth, one of the worst rated players in all of on defense on all of college basketball last year. And so far, he has the body. He's come out, and he's at least worked on defense. And at the end of the day, that's really all I kind of need. For that caliber of player, you just got to be able to work on defense, and he has. He's there's times where he's out of position and things like that, but that's fine. He's putting in the work. He's putting his body in there. It also makes you question how much of his defensive ratings and all that stuff came down to the fact of the team and the scheme he was on.
Sure, and this is something that I was talking with your dad about, is when you're the number one player as youth coming up and you're the man, this may be the first time in his life that he's been told, you got to play defense.
Right.
It could be the first time. I mean, you got so many people kissing your ass when you're in that position, and you're so much better than everyone else, and you can kind of Hasselhoff your way around. That is a verb. That this may be the first time that he's really being pushed at it. So he's obviously got the tools to be, at the least, not a negative defender, right? Yep. At the one.
Yeah.
We'll say that. But those concerns were valid, were real. The decision making sometimes. What I really liked is that he started to figure out those things at a little bit of a higher rate towards the end of the season, kind of on an uptick. And the two things that he can do that are elite level, it just seemed like a much safer bet to me in this draft with how this draft was, right? In a normal year, you'd have better options, I think. Tougher options that would make that kind of a pick a little bit tougher. But man, super stoked we got him. And there are times that he has exploded.
At the end of the day, he's the 29th pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you see somebody with all these tools, with some negative on several reasons why they fell to 29, but offensively or defensively, whatever tools that could put them to legit, at least consistent role players, if not even more. It's similar when you're talking about Bryce Sensabaugh last year, and that's when you take those kind of flyers. And so that's where it makes sense to take him at 29. And the way he's come out and played so far, immediately just has a feel for the game and runs the offense with Keontae. And him and Keontae have been on the court together, and it hasn't been a horrible freaking nightmare on the defense side of the court.
Better than I thought, right?
Yes.
Still have concerns, but better than I thought.
Yes, for sure. So I've been super happy with the way he's come out and played. I love that kind of, my dad said all the time with the alpha mentality, but that mentality that, he has of he wants to go at you, similar to Keontae has, and they both, together want to attack guys, throughout the games that I was at the game tonight, and him and Keontae together were just like back and forth, backing each other up, just talking and going after several of the players on the Sixers. And so those are things, that makes you fall in love with a player when he's on your team.
And this is something we talked about after that first game against Memphis, where he came in, his second half was incredible. He calmed us down, showed some absolute explosion in the transition game and in the open court. Even shot pretty decent, even though I think that really needs some work. But does his performance right out the gate, I mean, we know that he's going to have moments where he pulls bonehead plays and some weird rookie crap and some decision making. That's going to happen. That's a part of the journey. Does his performance and his level coming out the gate make it easier for our front office to shop Sexton, Clarkson right away?
It should.
I think they were somewhat already, but does it make it easier?
It should. It should be. Realistically, it should make it easier in the sense that they're willing to take less. Because right now it's all about playing and really developing and seeing who you have with your young players, right? Mm-hmm. We know who Sexton is. We know that's really not what we're looking for, unless you're going to play him in a 6-man role, and they're not going to do that.
And he's making $18 million, versus 1.5.
And right? and then Clarkson, it just his time has kind of passed in Utah. It makes no sense for him to be here with the direction that we're going right now.
So I would like to see Isaiah Collier getting. I don't think he should go to the G League right away. That's my opinion. I think that he should be with the senior team from the start, getting minutes, whether it's off the bench or whatever. But if it's a situation where Sexton and Clarkson are getting a whole bunch of minutes and he's not coming in because of that makes no sense to me.
No, for sure.
So that's one of the questions I had. Does this make it easier to kind of put some of the pieces together and move that along?
Hopefully. And we'll see. They've talked about, the one thing they have talked about with the Vegas Summer League is that Collier didn't play in the second game because they wanted him to play tonight, but they also wanted him to be ready to go play in Vegas. And so getting more development out of him and seeing that, how he grows with that, I think will be a big part of it as well.
And I'm excited for that. That's going to be fun.
The one thing, like I said, the thing I think that's going to depend on what level of step he can take this year or next year or whatever, how far that step is going to come down to how much the game slows down for him. Because a lot of his bonehead decisions is because it feels like the game hasn't slowed down yet at times. He'll make a great move,
right,
body through somebody or kind of juke him and stuff like that, gets to that final split-second decision, and then it's kind of like,
It's like, oh crap, this hasn't happened to me ever.
Yes. And
right.
so that right there, if that slows down, that puts that all of a sudden goes from him being able to go to a leap like that to him being able to do that.
Right. But I mean the confidence, the moxie, the physical ability to explode and change speeds, and the strength to handle, just the calmness that he'll have a defender right beside him going in the lane, and he doesn't give a damn because he
Yes.
knows that he can pull that off. He just hasn't run into the shot blocking walls, and
And-
we're just talking summer league, right?
And
So-
you could see tonight the amount of times that it was kind of like, okay, Keontae's feeling it. He'd bring the ball up, he'd kick it over to Keontae and kind of move out of the way and just space it out and stuff like that. And then Keontae, would maybe miss a shot or be tired or something like that. And Keontae would be willing to turn, throw it to him, and trust him to also do the same thing. And then he would kind of run the offense. And them immediately showing a willingness to go back and forth and work through each other like that's huge positives in my mind.
Yep. And I will say, towards the end of USC's season, his playmaking and the passes and the level of passing that he was doing in the correct windows and maximizing his teammates' window was high level. And I would expect that as the season goes along, we will start to see that more.
Yeah.
There will still be bonehead decisions and weird rookie moments, but look for the playmaking to go through the roof more as he's driving and making it happen as he feels more comfortable. So that'll be a fun journey with him. Super excited that we got him. And then we have our third rookie.
Do we have to talk about him?
Kyer Mike Wazowski.
I keep wanting to call him Frank Kaminsky.
I would take that.
I don't know why. Every time I think of him, I think just Kaminsky instead of Filipowski. Yeah, Duke fan.
And we saw him beginning of his freshman year, right? Remember that?
Yes.
So start of last year. So that's not this season, but the one before that. And I think it was Duke against Kansas in the preseason. And he was looking like a pretty promising
And we
freshman.
were like, oh.
We're like, I like this kid.
And then he just, dude, he's just such an inefficient shooter. He's looked kind of how I thought he would look, right? And he shows some moments that he making a couple of strong plays and stuff like that, but overall, it hasn't been his game, and he's really not that good of a rebounder.
It seems like since the start of his freshman year in college that he's focused on trying to dribble past people using his speed and out tough people.
Yeah.
Which there's no end game on those paths for him in the NBA level.
Right.
He will never shine on that path. He needs to shine on the path of being a playmaker, Kelly Olynyk style, correct. Being a playmaker, being able to hit open shots, and being able to space the floor. The more that he tries to go with, I'm going to be tough, I'm going to bang into people, I'm going to try and get rebounds, he's this. My comment to you when we were leaving Monday night was, what's the difference between Kyle Filipowski and Micah Potter?
Micah Potter can make threes.
Micah Potter can shoot, right? Outside of that,
yeah,
not much, negligible. So once again, we're Jazz fans. Hope he does great, but he needs to focus on the skills that will help him shine and get playing time on an NBA team long term.
Yeah. So overall, the three rookies. I mean, Cody Williams, I was not happy when we drafted him. Still not happy. Still hoping he works out. Still not happy about it. Filipowski, wasn't happy when we drafted. Still not happy about him. Still don't know why we drafted him. Especially with some of the players that were available there. Isaiah Collier, very happy to say that I was not happy when we drafted him, and very quickly and being able to kind of see, like, yeah, it makes 100% sense why you would draft him, and what, the things on why you would take him, and has already quickly kind of shown the flashes of potential there.
Yep. One of the things that I did want to talk about with this draft that's kind of bugged me is, people talking about how, I think they've used the term flat, how flat this draft is. And I think that Justin Zanuck was using that term, which means that there isn't much separation from 12 to 32, right?
Yeah.
We'll say. Not much separation. But then, so on one hand, if you say that, it's a flat draft, which means not much separation from players. But holy shit, we got a player at 32 that should have gone at 20. Didn't you just say it's a flat draft?
Yeah.
So the value isn't, I don't know. To me, that's talking out of both sides of your mouth. It means that a lot of the players are the same, so it's going to kind of land. It was kind of funny, our texting messages during that second round when we found out. I don't know if you remember what that was. We were like, oh, I hear that we're taking Filipowski. Oh, I don't know if we should take Filipowski. I hope not. we just took Filipowski. It was kind of the whole. Was the
That was
whole
kind of how it was with Cody Williams too.
I was laughing my butt off because he was off finishing his round of golf, and I knew that he would have a reaction when he came in.
He was the one, right, that I was very adamant about.
Yeah.
Out of all the guys that are available at 10,
Yeah.
this is not who I want. You know who was there at 10? Topic. Topic was there at 10. You know who was also there at 10? Dalton Connect, who's playing for the Lakers now and looking very good in Summer League for them.
Matas Buzelis was available.
Buzelis.
Just to me, other players that had a little bit better mechanics. So let's see how it goes. This is I love that we do the Utah Summer League because it gives us a chance to put together a handful of practices and then go down to Vegas.
Right.
It's a head start. I love that our organization does that. And it's a fun time of year. I much prefer this time of year than the doldrums of February and March in the NBA league.
Yes, 100%.
So this is fun stuff.
Yeah, it was fun getting back to watching basketball again, watching some NBA ball again, and being able to go to the games was fun. You know, I was there. We were there Monday, and then I was there again tonight, and so it's always a fun environment with the Utah crowd and stuff like that. And so these were fun games to go to, and I'm excited for the Vegas Summer League and to really just get freaking basketball going again.
Yeah, get him some minutes. If y'all didn't see, you've been living in a hole. Cooper Flag freaking putting on a display with the men's Olympic team
Yes.
for USA basketball in a scrimmage where the select team lost by 1. And if, I don't know, Pajemski thinks that he needs to take the shot at the very end there when Cooper Flag's been carrying him, but anyways, this player that should be going into his senior year in high school right now because he reclassified age-wise, gets on there with the U.S. national team and not only holds his own, but basically shines.
And is playing with Pazemski, Jaime Jaquez, Brandon Miller.
Amen Thompson was there, Jalen Duren. Yeah,
these are all developing very good young players in the league right now. And he's the one that's been kind of leading that
and they're
team.
deferring to him in that moment says a lot.
Yes.
Very impressed with what he did. I mean, if there's kind of one of the knocks on his game is he really a creator on his own? And we saw him several moments where Drew Holiday was trying to 1v1 lock him up, and he was popping him off the dribble and creating space and rising up over Anthony Davis. And so if you get a chance, go watch the scrimmage. There's a bunch of highlights out there too. There's some uncut versions that are pretty good. You can see why this guy is being talked about as the number 1 draft pick for this next one, and he would have been this year if he would have gone, after his junior year in high school. So, anyways, that's some of the stuff that we're all playing for this next year. So, my Jazz tanking plan, I hope we're still staying firm to it.
We'll see what happens. If it comes with us playing a lot of the young players, like we should have done last year, playing a lot of the young players, a lot of minutes, getting Larry Markkinen to an extension with the understanding of, hey, your play style and everything like that is you're gonna be able to play at this level for who knows 10 years. Let's get the right pieces around you, even if it takes some time to do it correctly. And if we get Cooper Flag, I'm not gonna be too upset.
Cooper Flag or about 5 others that are pretty special pieces in the first of that draft this next year. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I mean, the journey's starting. I'm not sure what the date is on the first Vegas Summer League stuff going on.
I don't know when the Jazz play. I believe Summer League itself starts on Friday, from what I remember, pretty quickly. I don't think the Jazz play till Saturday, I want to say. But either way, there's a lot of not just Jazz basketball. There's a lot of young players to go watch, and so Summer League's always a super fun time.
Can't wait, man.
But yeah, we'll do a couple more videos around there, and just being able to consistently have content and stuff to talk about and get back into it. Let us know what you guys think. If you got a chance to watch Salt Lake Summer League, what you thought of the new young players, of our guys from last year, where you're kind of hoping we're at, where you think some players are at. But either way, let us know. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.